longest-running wars in U.S. history. Let's take a moment to review the events on the War on Terror. The United States response to 9/11, the terrorist attack destroying the Twin Towers of September 11, 2001. Al-Qaeda, a terrorist group presumed to be behind this attack, located in Afghanistan under the leadership of Osama bin Laden, resulted in a war on terror. Around 3,000 civilians were killed on 9/11, marking this a tragic day in United States history. The United States then demanded Afghanistan, which at the time was under the control of the Taliban, to hand over bin Laden. The Taliban refused, however, prompting the United States to launch an aerial bombing campaign that targeted the Al-Qaeda training camps. Recent reports have informed us about the withdrawal of military troops from multiple places full of heat and tension, including involving North Korea and Afghanistan. Our troops are finally coming home, and no more blood will be shed. On the contrary, the U.S. is giving up power and influence with much in return. Critics of the president's withdrawal policy said it is demonstrating that terrorist groups such as the Taliban can achieve their goals without much of warfare, showing our allies such as the North Alliance and that the U.S. turned away and withdrew support. So suspecting bin Laden to have been sheltered within Pakistani territory of ostensibly ambiguous stance, the United States could not confirm his exact whereabouts until May of 2011. Meanwhile, providing a safe haven for wanton convicts of allies, Pakistan unceasingly permitted supply and transit and constant support of U.S. interventions within Afghanistan, boiling down to either a neutral status or unwavering loyalty.
In contrast, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, strictly resisted and contended with terrorism in Afghanistan. With its civilization suffering continual threat of security from terrorists, NATO leaders campaigned to promote a more influential response, improve alliances, and raise awareness of the dire situation, otherwise recognized as counterterrorism. Until 2014, NATO has been consistently dispatching troops to Afghanistan in hopes of terrorist activity regulation and conducting counterterrorism training. Likewise, the Northern Alliance, an amalgamation of various passionate anti-Taliban ethnicities and primarily consisting of Tajiks, retains similar ideology. Though not indirectly involved in the war on terror, the military front received plenitude backing from the U.S. during the past decade to wage defensive war upon the Taliban government.
Missing Vine?
Introducing TikTok, a mobile app for creating short talent, comedy, and lip sync videos, has encouraged the popularization of the trend of short videos with independent pieces of content, originally introduced by Vine, the Herd. This may be due to how TikTok focuses on the creativity level of producers, influencers, unlike many other types of forms of social media. Both TikTok and Vine have been influential in pop culture, as well as the development of Generation Z's only sense of humor. And I can prove it. Road work ahead. Say it with me now. I sure hope it does. This only confirms that TikTok has grown from Vine as a form of contagious diffusion across a large following.
Welcome back. Tracing back to the hearth of the initial conflicts between prominent Afghanistan ethnic groups, the quantitatively dominant Pashtuns, Hazaras, Tajiks, and Uzbeks. What events exactly marked the initial root of such rampage that ultimately resulted in the War on Terror? Let's take a look.
Several instances of supremacy declarations, including General Chakot's inapposite expression of Pashtun authority over Afghanistan in a popular talk show, prompted Afghan enragement. After successfully establishing the Taliban regime and securing the role of National Insurgency Corps, Taliban, a military organization mainly composed of Pashtun patrons, have nevertheless, as of currently, conquered a name for itself within global society. Two prominent warlords, Rabbani and Massoud, both Tajiks, united into a northern alliance to fight back and reclaim Afghanistan.
The Afghanistan war has costed the U.S. $975 billion, along with 149,000 lives lost, more than 38,000 of them being citizens. The war continues to destroy the lives of its citizens as a direct consequence of the war-induced breakdown of infrastructure, public health, and security. This has taken a toll on not only the United States, but the Afghanistan people as well. Innocent civilians have been killed during crossfires, explosive night raids, and more. Most of the fighting has taken place in Afghanistan, centered around its capital, Kabul, which has been fluctuating between occupation under the Taliban and the United States.
Afghanistans are still recovering from decades of conflict and are highly dependent on foreign aid. In consequence, continual suffering from shortages of housing, water, electricity, and jobs has hindered further development of living standards, causing it to remain among the lowest worldwide. Hospitals in Afghanistan are treating large numbers of war-wounded citizens, including amputees and burn victims. The war has also inflicted invisible wounds. In 2009, the Afghan Ministry of Public Health reported that fully 2/3 of Afghans suffer from mental health problems.
The wars in Afghanistan have resulted in an extremely vulnerable government and some of the lowest living conditions. Nearly all factors associated with premature death of Afghan citizens are worsened by the current war. The extremely high mortality rate of 39 out of every 1,000 live births makes Afghanistan the 10th country with the highest fertility rates. Poverty is estimated to increase and worsen. Economic growth substantially lagged population growth, leading to a declining per capita incomes. Droughts negatively impact the lives of the 82nd percentile of the poor living in rural areas and resulted in a drought-induced displacement reaching a record level of 298,000 individuals.
Afghanistan is starting to rebuild its economy in the middle of all of this violence. Its GDP per capita has tripled since 2001. Its geographic location is a crucial messenger between Central and South Asia, and Afghanistan is looking into economic opportunities from serving as an intermediary between the two regions. Socially, Afghanistan has also undergone tremendous improvement considering its circumstances. Maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate has nearly halved from 2000, and a majority of the population now has access to electricity and safe drinking water. Women's rights has also advanced tremendously, seeing a dramatic increase in the number of girls enrolled in primary school, and recent polls showing that the majority of Afghanistan supports women's rights.
However, there are still problems to be resolved with Afghanistan. There are around 2.6 million Afghanistan refugees worldwide, with almost half of them being children. The number of internally displaced persons is nearly 2 million, and although 5.2 million refugees have returned to Afghanistan since 2002, out-migration still outpaces immigration as of now. A major component of Afghanistan's economy is its illegal drug production. Afghanistan leads the world in opium production, with more than 90% of the world's opium cultivated in Afghanistan. The Taliban has been using the illegal drug sector as a main source of funding. Additionally, it's estimated that 30 to 40 troops die in combat every day.
As of now, the war in Afghanistan is coming to an end, but not all things have been cleared up. Trump's indication of a hasty withdrawal could undermine the stability that the U.S. has been working towards. Instead, the best possible scenario is a peace treaty that is kept and maintained between the U.S., the Taliban, and the Northern Alliance. However, as that isn't very likely, the U.S. should gradually withdraw its troops, corresponding troop withdrawal with political and economic checkpoints to ensure that the floor isn't pulled out from underneath the Afghans.
Thank you, Claire. The ongoing war began on October 7, 2001, with the invasion of Afghanistan when the U.S. sought to remove the Taliban power due to the fact that they were hosting al-Qaeda terrorists in camps, the main suspects of the unforgettable September 11 attacks.
In conclusion, ethnocentrism plays an extremely destructive role in Afghanistan because of the large amounts of racial discrimination as well as the lack of religious tolerance. Religious freedom is negatively impacted due to the unsettlement of security issues. Assimilation also played an important part, as non-Muslim groups such as Hindus, Christians, and Sikhs remain endangered minorities and lack the ability to publicly take part in personal religious traditions. To sum it all up, civil unrest in Afghanistan was painted with a brush of religious and racial color.